Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into some really fascinating research from Dr. Kartikeya Bowler over at the TA Pi Management Institute. He's taking a close look at a piece of tech we use all the time, but maybe don't think about deeply enough, the chatbot. And it turns out there's a lot more going on than you'd think. So let's start with something we've all been through, right? That super frustrating dead-end chat with a bot that just doesn't get it. You know, where it feels less like an assistant and more like you're just pushing buttons on a weird vending machine. We've all been there. But here's the twist. Dr. Bowler argues that these bots, they're not just little tools anymore. Nope. They've actually become the front line of public relations for tons of companies. They are literally creating those critical first impressions at a massive scale every single day. So today, we're going to walk through the 4 huge shifts that Dr. Bowler's research uncovers. And then we'll wrap it all up with a really practical playbook for anyone in a leadership role. Ready? Let's get into it. Okay, the first big shift is a mind vendor. It's this. When a customer talks to your chatbot, they don't feel like they're talking to a program. In their head, they feel like they're talking directly to you, the company itself. And the psychology here is pretty wild. It's this thing called instinctive personification. It's just a natural human tendency. We can't help but give an organization a personality. And since the chatbot is so often that first or most common point of contact, well, it basically becomes the company's voice and face. And here's the payoff. When you design a chatbot that can have a nice, social conversation, it directly builds these 3 amazing perceptions of your brand. It makes you seem more agreeable, like you're honest and you care. More enterprising, like you're modern and imaginative. And more competent, dependable, and credible. That's a huge win. But, and this is a really important but, there's a catch. A friendly bot can totally boost all those good vibes, but it can't paper over a bigger problem. The research is clear. A bot's charm can't fix a reputation for being ruthless. You know, things like controversial pricing or sketchy policies. A charming bot just can't fix a fundamentally bad strategy. So the bottom line for this first point is simple. Stop thinking of your bot as just an FAQ machine. It's a strategic brand ambassador, and you've got to treat it like one. All right, let's move on to the second big shift. This one's all about focusing on the quality of the chat itself, not just whether it spits out the right information. Look, accuracy is table stakes. Of course, the bot has to be right. But what Dr. Buller's analysis shows is that these 2 ingredients are what make an experience great. First, social presence. That feeling of warmth, like you're actually talking to a conscious being, not just a database. And second, human voice. Just using simple, polite, natural language. And it makes perfect sense, right? In a world where you're just typing back and forth, these little cues become the replacement for eye contact, for body language. They're what turn a boring, functional task into something that actually feels like a relationship. And when that happens, people are way more forgiving of little mistakes. This brings us to a real game changer of an idea. A well-designed chatbot doesn't just talk at people. It can actually demonstrate that your entire organization is listening, and it can do it at a massive scale. A respectful bot kicks off this incredible chain reaction. It starts with a simple, polite conversation. From there, the user starts to think, hey, if the bot is this helpful and respectful, the company itself must be this way. And the final result? The user feels genuinely heard and understood by the whole organization. And what's so cool about this is how simple it can be. You don't need some sci-fi level AI. It really just comes down to good communication. You know, reflect and summarize what they asked. Offer clear choices instead of hitting them with a dead end. And always, always close the loop so they know what's coming next. Okay, our 4th and final shift brings all of this together. It connects everything we've talked about to the ultimate goal for any brand, which is building real, lasting trust. And the way you do that is by creating transparency. A really good, socially smart bot helps with 2 critical kinds of transparency. The first is informational, just making it easy to get clear, straight answers. The second is participatory, which is making people feel like their feedback actually counts for something, that the company might even change because of what they said. So, what's the actual business impact here? What's the result of putting in all this effort to be transparent and build trust? Well, you get high-quality relationships. And that's not just some fluffy, feel-good metric. We're talking about customers who are trusting, satisfied, and committed. These are the people who stick around, who tell their friends about you, and who actually work with you to solve a problem, instead of fighting against you. All right, for our last section, let's make this super practical. What does this all mean for leaders? How can you take these ideas and actually put them into action in your own company? Dr. Bowler lays out a really clear playbook. First, treat your bot's tone of voice like it's a core part of your brand strategy, because it is. Second, sweat the small stuff. The word choices, the response times, those little micro cues matter a ton. Third, and this is huge, do not use a charming bot to put lipstick on a pig. Your actions have to match your words. Also, start measuring for things like trust and satisfaction, not just how fast you can close a ticket. And finally, always have a smooth and easy way for a customer to talk to a real person if they need to. So when you boil it all down, the single most important thing to take away from this is that your chatbot is a living, breathing reflection of your brand's character. It reflects your values and your entire relationship with your customers. It is so much more than just code.